The rich get richer and the poor get poorer. We've all heard this saying. It's a catchy phrase, easily remembered and repeated. It seems to explain the world we see, a world where the gap between the haves and have-nots seems to widen. This saying resonates because it reflects a certain truth. It's undeniable that wealth often begets more wealth. Those with existing assets have a head start in accumulating more. They can invest, take risks, and leverage their resources in ways that are often inaccessible to those with less. However, to reduce the complex reality of wealth inequality to this simple phrase is a mistake. It ignores the nuances, the multitude of factors that contribute to this persistent global challenge. It simplifies a multifaceted issue into a simplistic binary, overlooking the interplay of history, policy, and individual circumstances. While the saying captures a partial truth, it fails to encompass the whole picture. To truly understand wealth inequality, we need to delve deeper, going beyond the surface to examine the intricate mechanisms at play. The phrase, "the rich get richer and the poor get poorer," suggests a static system, a zero-sum game where one group's gain is inherently another's loss. This is a misleading oversimplification. Economies are dynamic, constantly evolving with winners and losers influenced by a complex interplay of forces. Reducing wealth inequality to a simple dichotomy ignores the fluidity of economic mobility. Individuals and families can experience upward or downward mobility throughout their lifetimes or across generations. New opportunities arise, industries change, and individual circumstances shift, making a static view inaccurate. Moreover, the phrase overlooks the crucial role of external factors like government policies, technological advancements, and global economic forces. These factors can either exacerbate or mitigate wealth inequality, shaping the distribution of resources and opportunities in profound ways. It's crucial to remember that wealth creation is not inherently a fixed pie. Economic growth can lead to improved living standards for all, even if the distribution of that growth remains unequal. Therefore, the focus should not solely be on the rich getting richer, but on ensuring that economic progress benefits all members of society. Wealth inequality is a complex issue with deep roots in historical, social, and economic structures. It's not merely a product of individual choices or circumstances, but rather a systemic challenge shaped by centuries of policies, practices, and power dynamics. Historical factors like colonialism, slavery, and discriminatory policies have created lasting legacies of inequality. These systems systematically disadvantage certain groups, denying them access to education, property ownership, and economic opportunities, creating an uneven playing field that persists to this day. Social structures, including discrimination based on race, gender, caste, or other factors, further exacerbate wealth inequality. These prejudices limit access to education, employment, and resources, perpetuating cycles of poverty and disadvantage across generations. Economic systems that prioritize capital accumulation over equitable distribution also contribute to the problem. When the benefits of economic growth are disproportionately channeled to the top, it widens the gap between the rich and the poor. History provides numerous examples of how past injustices and systemic biases continue to shape wealth inequality today. The legacy of colonialism, for instance, is evident in the economic disparities between former colonizers and colonized nations. The transatlantic slave trade left an indelible mark on wealth distribution in the Americas. The forced labor of enslaved Africans generated immense wealth for slave owners and fueled the growth of Western economies, while their descendants continue to grapple with the economic consequences of this brutal system. In many countries, discriminatory laws and practices denied land ownership, inheritance rights, and access to education or financial services based on race, religion, or ethnicity. These historical injustices continue to cast a long shadow, contributing to persistent wealth gaps. Section 5. The Global Game. Wealth inequality is not confined within national borders. It's a global phenomenon influenced by international trade, financial flows, and geopolitical forces. Globalization, while connecting economies and creating new opportunities, has also exacerbated wealth disparities. Developed countries often benefit from cheaper labor and resources in developing nations, while multinational corporations can leverage their power to secure favorable trade deals and minimize tax burdens, further concentrating wealth. The increasing mobility of capital allows investors to seek out the highest returns, often in countries with lower wages and weaker environmental regulations. This can lead to a race to the bottom, where countries compete to attract investment by lowering labor and environmental standards, ultimately harming workers and the environment. International organizations like the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank have been criticized for promoting policies that prioritize economic liberalization and austerity measures, which can exacerbate inequality, especially in developing countries. Section 6. Technology, a double-edged sword. Technological advancements have the potential to both alleviate and exacerbate wealth inequality. On the one hand, technology can create new industries, jobs, and opportunities, boosting economic growth and improving living standards. On the other hand, technological progress can lead to job displacement, particularly for low-skill workers, as automation and artificial intelligence become more sophisticated. This can widen the income gap between those who possess in-demand tech skills and those who don't. Moreover, access to technology itself can be a source of inequality. Those with greater financial resources have earlier and more extensive access to the latest technologies, giving them an advantage in education, entrepreneurship, and the job market. Section 7. The government's hand. Government policies play a crucial role in shaping the distribution of wealth within a society. Through taxation, social welfare programs, education, healthcare, and labor regulations, governments can either mitigate or exacerbate inequality. Progressive taxation, where higher earners pay a larger proportion of their income in taxes, can generate revenue to fund social programs that benefit lower-income households such as healthcare, education, and housing assistance. Minimum wage laws, collective bargaining rights, and workplace safety regulations can help ensure fair wages and working conditions for all employees, reducing income inequality. Investments in education and job training programs can equip individuals with the skills needed to succeed in a changing economy. However, governments can also implement policies that worsen inequality, such as regressive tax systems that disproportionately burden lower-income earners or cuts to social welfare programs that leave vulnerable populations without a safety net. Section 8. No easy answers. Addressing wealth inequality is a complex challenge with no simple or singular solution. It requires a multifaceted approach that considers the historical, social, economic, and political factors that contribute to the problem. There is no one-size-fits-all solution, and strategies must be tailored to specific contexts. Some argue for a greater emphasis on redistributive policies, such as higher taxes on wealth and income, coupled with increased social spending on education, healthcare, and social safety nets. Others advocate for policies that promote economic growth and opportunity for all, such as investments in infrastructure, education, and entrepreneurship. Still, others emphasize the importance of addressing systemic discrimination and promoting social mobility through affirmative action programs, anti-discrimination laws, and investments in marginalized communities. Section 9. A multifaceted approach. Effectively tackling wealth inequality requires a comprehensive strategy that combines multiple approaches. Investing in human capital by providing quality education and healthcare for all, regardless of background, is crucial for creating a more equitable society. Promoting fair labor practices by ensuring fair wages, benefits, and working conditions for all workers is essential for reducing income inequality. Creating a progressive tax system by shifting the tax burden towards those who can afford it most is key for funding social programs and reducing wealth disparities. Addressing systemic discrimination by dismantling discriminatory systems and practices that perpetuate inequality is crucial for creating a level playing field. Promoting global cooperation, as international collaboration is needed to address global inequalities, such as those related to trade, finance, and climate change. Ultimately, addressing wealth inequality is not just an economic imperative, it's a moral one. A just and equitable society requires ensuring that everyone has an opportunity to thrive, regardless of their background or circumstances.